Tell me, have you noticed that this year flew by faster than the last, and that your entire childhood, 10 whole years, now feels like a short dream that barely lasted a few months? What if I told you that feeling is not an illusion? What if I told you that science actually proves that time itself, literally, physically, measurably, is accelerating, and that the Quran said this 14 centuries before Einstein? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see everything. Think about a 6-year-old child waiting for his birthday. Every single day feels like a year. The hours drag. The nights feel endless. Time, for him, is heavy as stone. Now think about a man in his 50s who turns around and finds that 20 years have just vanished, and he asks himself with a kind of quiet ache, where did it all go? Same planet, same sun, same 60 minutes in every hour, but time feels completely different. Why? That question haunted philosophers for thousands of years, but modern science and a book that came down in the Arabian desert 14 centuries ago have an answer that will blow your mind. In 1905, a young man was working as a clerk at a patent office in Bern, Switzerland. He wasn't a university professor. He didn't have a lab. He just sat alone, with blank paper and a pen, and he thought his name was Albert Einstein. And that year, he wrote an equation that changed humanity. Not E equals mc. That came later. This was something deeper, something more unsettling. Einstein said something no one had ever said before. Time is not fixed. Time, the thing we all assume we share equally, stretches and shrinks. It speeds up and slows down, depending on two things, speed and gravity. Now, you might be thinking, that's just theory. What does it have to do with me? Wait. Because this isn't just in physics textbooks. It's working right now. In your phone, literally. The GPS system in your phone depends on a correction calculated every single day. Because of time dilation, the satellites that pinpoint your location live in weaker gravity than we do on Earth, so their clocks tick slightly faster than ours. If scientists didn't correct for this gap every day, your GPS maps would be off by more than 6 miles every single day. Relative time is not philosophy. It is a reality measured in microseconds. But let me take you deeper. Einstein didn't stop at the special theory of relativity in 1905 after 10 years of grueling work. In 1915, he gave us something even more staggering. General relativity. He said, the universe is not just empty space where things move around. The universe is one connected fabric, weaving space and time into a single thing he called spacetime. And this fabric bends. Any massive object, the sun, the earth, even your own body, warps the fabric of spacetime around it. And the closer you get to a massive source of gravity, the slower time moves. This isn't abstract. A clock on the ground floor of a building ticks slightly slower than a clock at the top of a skyscraper. Your distance from the center of the earth changes the speed of time. Gravity slows time down. Now pause with me for just a second. If gravity slows time, and time bends and shifts depending on place, speed, and mass, what does that mean on the scale of the entire universe? Astrophysicists are observing something deeply unsettling. The universe is expanding, and not just expanding, it's expanding at an accelerating rate. Every galaxy is moving away from every other. The distances are growing, and scientists say this expansion is tied to a shift in how time flows at a cosmic level. But something much closer to home, neuroscientists, not just physicists, tell us. Our sense of time changes biologically as we age. When you're a child, every experience is new. Every day is full of first-time memories. Your brain is recording massive amounts of information, and so time feels long. When you grow up, life becomes routine, less novelty, fewer new memories being laid down. The brain goes into shortcut mode, and the months blur past like days. But is that the whole truth? No. Because there's another source that spoke about shrinking time in a way that simply cannot be coincidence. Before we go on, I want you to imagine something. You're in a barren desert. The year is 620 AD. No internet, no libraries, no physics, no labs, no instruments of any kind. And then a revelation descends, describing earthly existence with these words. It will be as though they had lived no longer than an evening, or its morning, an evening, or its morning. A few short hours, That is how people will feel when they behold the next life, that their entire existence, 20 years, 50 years, 80 years, will feel like a few hours in the morning of a single day. This is not just poetic imagery, this is a description of a real, temporal phenomenon. Now let me bring both threads together. Einstein says, time is relative. Its direction, its speed, its length, all of it shifts depending on your frame of reference. The Quranic says, all of this world, however long it feels by our own measure, will seem like nothing against a different frame of reference, the frame of the hereafter. This is exactly what relativity describes. Different frames of time, different references. What seems long in one frame is a blink in another. And then there's another verse, one that stops you cold, and indeed, a day with your Lord is like 1,000 years of what you count. One day with God equals 1,000 of our years. Physicists call this gravitational time dilation. When you exist in a place with different gravity, or in an entirely different frame of reference, clocks run at a completely different rate. How could a text that came down in the 7th century describe something science didn't discover until the 20th? But let me come back to you, to that feeling you carry every day, to the question that quietly unsettles you. Why did this year pass like that? The answer lives at the intersection of physics, neuroscience, and spiritual truth. First, neuroscientists say the brain measures time by the number of novel events it records. A child lives each day as a series of firsts. The first time he rides a bike, the first time he sees the ocean, the first time he feels scared of the dark. Every one of those moments enriches memory and stretches psychological time. An adult living in repeated routine, their brain runs most days on autopilot. It stops recording details. And so the months pass, like days. Second, there's a stunning physiological explanation. The faster your brain processes information, the slower time seems to move. Children have a relatively higher rate of neural processing. They experience more time units within the same second. As we age, that rate slows. This isn't just a feeling. It is measured in physiology. Third, and this is what you won't hear anywhere else, when the Qur'an describes this world as play and amusement and fleeting enjoyment, it isn't dismissing its value. It is describing its actual temporal nature. It is short by design, not because it's bad, but because it was designed to be a passage, not a destination. Now I want you to hear something that will truly shake your mind. In astrophysics, when an object approaches a black hole, something strange happens. From the perspective of a distant observer, the object appears to freeze completely at the event horizon. It doesn't move, suspended in time forever. From the outside, but from the object's own perspective, everything is happening normally to different experiences of time for the same event, completely opposite, and both are real in their own frame. Now look at life and death through that lens. In the moment of departure, what changes? Not time as we know it in our own frame, but a transition into a completely different frame of reference, one in which 70 years of earthly life feel like a fleeting moment. The soul doesn't stop. It crosses over. This is not only a religious metaphor. This is the language of relativistic physics. And now, the real question, if you know that time is accelerating. That this world is designed by its very nature to be short, and that every day you live on autopilot passes without your brain even recording it. What does that mean for how you actually live? It means that attention is the most valuable thing you own, not money, not the number of hours in your day, but the quality of your presence. In each moment, the child for whom time feels long is the child who is fully there, filled with wonder, noticing everything. And you right now, when you silence the noise and show up to your moment with complete awareness, you do something extraordinary. You slow down subjective time. This is where physics, spirituality, and psychology all meet. The present moment is the longest, the fullest, the most real, and there is a prophetic saying that anchors this truth in a way that moves you. Take advantage of 5 before 5, your youth before your old age, your health before your illness, your wealth before your poverty, your free time before your obligations, and your life before your death. This is not empty preaching. This is precise temporal psychology. Before time accelerates in one phase of life, invest deeply in the phase you're in right now. There's one last idea I want you to carry with you. Physicists say that time may not be the straight line we imagine it to be. Some believe that all of time, past, present, future exists simultaneously within the fabric of spacetime, that we move through it, not it through us. If that's true, then what we call the present is nothing more than the point where our existence intersects with time, and the Quran describes God as the first and the last, the manifest and the hidden, meaning he encompasses all of time, at once outside of time, above it, its very creator, and this gives prayer, that simple act that seems so distant from physics, a profound logic. You are communicating with a being who is not bound by time, who exists outside every frame of reference, who sees everything, all at once. The moment of prayer is, in a very real sense, a stepping outside the prison of limited time. Time is shrinking. This is not an illusion. Science confirms it. The Quran pointed to it, and your daily life proves it. But shrinking time is not your enemy. It is a reminder that you are here on a one-way journey, and that every day you live with awareness, present, loving, giving, reflective, is a day your brain and your soul record as something real. The days you sleepwalk through, those are the days that leave no mark. Choose to be present, choose to be amazed, choose to live each day as if it's the first time, because your brain will record it as a full day. Time will not wait for you, but you can live inside it more deeply than you ever imagined. And if this made something stir inside you, subscribe now and drop one question in the comments that you want us to explore together in the next episode. I read every single comment, and the best questions become videos.